welcome to the Rotherham United podcast. Today is the look back bad night at New York Stadium on Thursday night, and we look ahead to it's now an equally as big game on Sunday against Birmingham City, or every game from now on is equally as big, I suppose. So we're going to go through both of those, look a bit more detail. Last night we had to put live show post-match, but we'll go a bit more detail, and then as much detail as we can looking forward. I said to another game live on Sky, which is lucky for us all, isn't it? Mick and Ben are here. Good evening, Michael.
Hello.
And Ben, I don't know if anybody can tell, Ben has actually had a haircut. Any YouTube viewers, he has had a haircut. Well, it looks like it. This is live on YouTube as well as going out the podcast, so we may get some comments in from people on YouTubers, which we'll talk about as when they come in. So there's unfortunately only one place to start, and that's the 1-0 defeat against Coventry, which puts us 4 points adrift of safety. We are recording whilst Derby are still playing, but Derby are still losing. So that's at the moment good results. We'll keep, that'll finish whilst we're recording, so we'll be able to talk about that when that's finished. Mick, we spoke about it last night, but Ben, just a general overview of the game last night and your disappointments, I suppose.
Dreadful. Everything about it, to be honest. Poor performance, poor execution, poor defending. There's not a lot of positives, to be honest. That's what it was. I think if it comes down to end of season and we're still playing like that, I have no problem with going down because we deserve it. I thought we deserved to lose 100% last night.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying they deserve to win, but we deserve to lose. I don't think they deserve to win, but we definitely deserve to lose.
I think that's a fair summing up of the game. I don't think we will play that between now and the end of the season. That is a once in a however many years situation. The sort of time frame of games in between one and the other.
It's a once in a every time we play Coventry situation, isn't it?
I meant the break between the Tuesday game and then the Thursday game.
Yeah.
And as much as you can rest all the players you want on Tuesday, it's still going to have a very big impact, and it did.
Yeah.
Disappointing, Mick. We talked about last night, but it was just the Coventry's intensity, and this is why the fatigue is such an important point. They just beat us through energy, really.
Yeah. I'm a little bit worried, I'll be honest, and having thought about it and given it some thought. You know as well as I do that I am a massive, massive fan of Paul Warne and the things he does and the way that he and his team run the club. But for me, and I might be wrong, I don't know, but in my head I'm thinking there was a psychological issue last night. We were frightened. We started the game as if we were frightened. They came at us, they came out the traps very quickly, and we genuinely appeared not to really know how to deal with it, which I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it now. But I would have thought the psychological side of the game and the psychological approach to the game would have been right up Warney and his team's street. And if it is, they got it way, way wrong last night. Or the players got it way, way wrong last night, because it's, once the players crossed that white line last night, they've got no control over or very little control over what the players do and how they perform. They didn't know what to do. They were literally like rabbits in the headlights for the first 20-25 minutes. We couldn't keep the ball. There was no composure, and I don't really understand why. And that kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. Then we never, from that moment on, or from those sort of opening few minutes onwards, we never ever took control of the game, and that's a worry. I'm a little bit worried about it, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know, but I think Warney likes to take the pressure off in these circumstances. And again, because of the circumstances in terms of games, I think it was 100% right to take all the pressure off the players. I know it's a huge, huge game, but at the same time, if you're putting extra stress on players who are already fatigued, extremely fatigued, it's going to add to the mental stress which they're already under because they're already knackered. But if that was the case, it did backfire.
Yeah, it certainly didn't work. I don't know. I think the other thing to bear in mind, and this is really, really difficult, and I'm having a lot of difficulty with it, is to just get some perspective on it, because we did say privately, I don't know whether we said it on the podcast, but certainly said it privately, that losing that game wasn't the end of the world. And so it proves when you actually sit down in the cold light of day and look at the league table. 4 points behind Derby with 2 games in hand.
Yeah.
Would you?
Well, 3 after tonight.
Yeah, with 3 games in hand. So, yeah, I don't know whether we as a set of supporters.
Yeah, but it could be 7 points if they win.
They're losing in a minute though.
I get that. They were
1-0.
They were, yeah.
They're losing 2.
Oh yeah. Wow. Never mind. That's about what I said.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm quite down about it. I'm quite down about the performance last night. But ordinarily I get over that. But I think the thing that's really, really grinding my gears at the moment is just the reaction to it. Again, and I know I go on about it every week, don't I? But every time I lose, I go on about it. But it's really, really dragging me down now. It really is. I find it so depressing how people react, how people react, and I think that is possibly one of the reasons why I'm struggling to get over the fact that we're lost.
I think I'm opposite to that. I mean, a Wycombe game took me until the Huddersfield game to sort of forget about that loss, whereas this one I were more annoyed than upset last night on Thursday night when it happened. But this morning I'm sort of quite chilled out because for the Wycombe game, you couldn't. There was no reason to play like we did against Wycombe.
No.
But there is every reason to, other than there's certain things which are inexcusable, which we will come on to, 95% of what happened last night, we couldn't really have done anything about it. Even if the players were motivated up to the eyeballs, they couldn't keep up with the energy that Coventry had from minute 1. They just couldn't do it. And Coventry were able to continue that momentum for almost the entire game.
Yeah.
We didn't deal with their game management, which again is not something we can do, because that's down to the referee to stop them from doing that.
Yeah, but let's be fair, they weren't that bad at it. To be honest with you,
there were no Wycombe, but they weren't great.
No, with the exception of the goalkeeper who genuinely took a minute to take every goal kick.
Yeah.
With the exception of that, they weren't that bad about it. To be fair, I thought Coventry were really good last night in virtually everything that they did. They were very, very
finishing.
Other than the finishing, yeah. That's why they're down there.
Yeah,
that's why we're down there as well. So
Yeah, my main gripe, Ben, last night is realistically, from a attacking point of view, is set pieces and putting balls into the box. The ball, if it beat the first man more than twice all night, I would be absolutely amazed. And that's the really frustrating part of the game. Put it into ball, put it into a bit of a dangerous area and see what happens. That didn't happen once. No.
You know what? I can't even remember any set pieces.
No, I can't. Other than wing it to post.
Yeah, that was a good strike as well. But I think it was just. I don't have any words for it apart from they were just the better team. They were really good. They really surprised me, to be honest, with the pressing. That's obviously with the game plan because
it makes sense.
You'd be a fool not to do that against the tired Rotherham team. Yeah, I think some of the work ethic lacked. Obviously, I understand that they are tired. However, I saw some stuff from Woody and Smithy, work ethic that I didn't see from anybody else on the pitch, not one. And if Woody can do it at 36, I don't see a reason why anyone else can do it. There's no valid reason why anyone else can't do it. So I thought the work ethic wasn't there. I understand they're unfit, but...
Unfit's not the right word.
You know what I mean? And
I mean tired.
Fatigued. Yeah, tired. I didn't mean unfit.
To be honest, I don't think there's what else you can say after that. I think that's absolutely bang on. If Woody can put that amount of work in at 35 years old, then nobody else has got an excuse. Whether you played Tuesday or not, to be fair. I accept that different positions have different impacts on the body and everything else. But look, we've got to put it behind us. We've got to put it behind us and I'm sure that's obviously what they'll be working on in the squad within the team. But we as supporters have got to put it behind us as well. It's difficult. It's difficult because we'd all either outwardly or certainly inwardly built this up to be a massive game.
Yeah.
No matter how hard I tried, because I didn't want to build it up to be a big game. No matter how hard I tried, I was still sort of nervous about it. I went on the Birmingham podcast reviewing this weekend's game about half an hour before kickoff, and I struggled to string 3 words together because all I was thinking about was this game that's coming up, and that's all I talked about. You know, we didn't talk about Birmingham City or Rotherham United. We talked about Coventry, which will have gone down well in Birmingham, I imagine. But
sure,
we built it up, didn't we? And the more you build it up, the further you have to fall afterwards.
Yeah, I suppose. There is one, I can only think of one positive, but it's a goddamn brilliant positive. The Viking again, Ben. Every time I watch him, I think I love him, and then I watch him a bit more, and then I love him a little bit more, and then last night was just encapsulated everything that's good about Victor Johansson last night for me.
Yeah, I thought. When I said Smithy and Woody, I meant to include Johansson because he had a brilliant game, crucial save. Then I can't remember. I think it was the first few minutes of game. Might have even been first minute, pulled off a world-class save. Then they go through basically one-on-one from penalty spot and saves it. But, I mean, he got let down by his team, Johansson.
Yeah.
A great performance, because he obviously wanted to win. I didn't see anyone else that wanted to win, apart from Woody. But, yeah, he's got the potential to be amazing.
Class.
Yeah.
He's cut out these mistakes. I know we're only very shortly into his professional career, but the first game we watched against Preston, Mick, it was not panicky, but he rushed everything. You could see his energy, you could see it sort of built up inside him, and he made a couple of mistakes. He almost cost us the game.
Yeah.
And that's the honest truth in that game. And I know he made the mistake against Wickham, but you can see him already learning from his mistakes, his willingness to try something and to be better, and that'll stand him in good. For a keeper, he's a baby. 22-year-old for a keeper is still a baby.
Absolutely.
We're onto a winner with him.
Listen, he certainly has the potential to be a world-class goalkeeper. There's no doubt about it because he's got the attitude. And he's clearly now got the ability. He's shown he's got the ability, and if he's able to maintain that development that he's shown over the past, I don't know 6 months, for the next 2 or 3 years of his career, then the sky's the limit for him. It really is. He is potentially that good. But he appears to be such a likeable character as well, doesn't he? You know what I mean? If I were a bit younger, I'd volunteer to have his babies. You know, he's just fantastic. And that's the type of people that you want around your squad. You know, so recruitment team not done a very good job. I beg to differ.
Yeah, he ticks all the boxes of a goalkeeper. When we look back at the best keepers, Mike Pollitt's one who was my keeper growing up. It was very questionable at crosses, but it was an unbelievable shot stopper.
Yeah.
And then you got Rodak, who was probably not as good a shot stopper, but he's actually coming out for crosses and clearing him was very, very good. You're so far Johansson's a mix of both. He's a fantastic shot stopper, but he's really good at coming for. I can't think of many crosses he's come for and not either caught or punched or been fouled. Is that fair, Ben?
Yeah, I agree. But I think the main thing is, obviously, I know it's taking positives from a negative game last night, but I don't think we can get too involved in him having a good game because the reality is we lost 1-0 and he conceded, which is the reality of the game. So I understand the performance. It was unlucky, but we've got to move on because the reality of the game is we lost. So, do you know what I mean? If he can play like Manuel Neuer all he wants and Lev Yashin, but if we lose 1-0, it's irrelevant.
Do you know,
so,
I like the last episode before, we had a conversation about why we're the positive ones.
Yeah, I'm not negative. I'm just saying we can't get too bogged down because we lost 1-0.
I know.
So we just move on. I think
just trying to find a ray of sunshine.
Oh yeah,
a ray of sunshine in the cloudy day.
He was one of the few positives, but we did lose the game. Remember, so.
Sorry, Ben, for trying to be happy for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can be happy, but there's got to be a certain expectation because I want to stay up. I don't know about you two, but you're not going to stay up by losing 1-0 to people around you, are you? So
my point would be that he did his job. The goal went in. He couldn't because it took a. I know it's only a slight deflection of Wes Harding, but those slight deflections are almost the worst.
He got let down by his team the whole night. That goal was Harding's fault. As much as I like him, I don't know why he's gone to ground there. I don't know. But we'll come on to that. But he got let down by his team. I thought he did his best to keep it in it. Played the man at match, to be honest.
Easily man at match.
Oh, yeah.
I know Sky Sports couldn't give it because somebody scored, but he was comfortably man at match. He was best player on pitch by a mile.
Yeah.
But anyway. I mentioned we'll talk about Wes Harding now. And it's one of those incidents and one of those games where he's not been faultless this season, but he's not far off being best player of the season. And he has made a mistake for the free kick. And he's sort of made a mistake for the marking, Mick, but they did a job. They tried it first half, but they did a job and took him out of the game. And it's just one of them things, isn't it? I don't want to be too critical.
No. To be fair, the challenge, such as it was, and it weren't a challenge for me.
No.
The referee's going to give it. He's going to give it every time. When you actually break it down, I don't think it was a free kick. I think the player bought it. If let's be polite, let's not say that he dove because he did. But we say he bought it. But he bought it because Wes Harding gave him that opportunity to buy it. He kind of put it up for sale, didn't he? By going to ground. I didn't think there was any need to, and I was surprised when he did. Because he's got plenty of pace, and I thought he could have shepherded that out, or at least held him up on touchline. But they were the actions of a tired man. I think he looks exhausted. Bear in mind he's played full 90 minutes for the last 3 games.
What I would say is, he's exhausted. That's a mental choice. You've got to be able to keep that. Yeah, but you have though. As physically exhausted as you are, you cannot have a mental lapse because it lost us the game. And in reality, I'm not saying it will, but it could send us down. I don't think it will. I don't think it will, but it could because of one mental lapse.
Yeah.
But you can't expect somebody to play because he's played. If you didn't play all game on Tuesday, he played most of it. He played all game on Saturday. He played 75 minutes on Thursday.
Yeah.
He's going to have a mental lapse. It's going to happen, but it's down to other people to help. For example, the defending from the free kick wasn't just Wes Harding's fault. He's got to be helped out by his teammates and his attacking teammates as well. Didn't help him out with actually scoring goals.
It's an awkward position for the free kick. I don't have any problem with the defending. It was poor, but it's such an awkward angle. You can't. Yeah. You don't really practice for that angle. But it is what it is. Yeah. Isn't it?
I'm going to take a few comments from YouTube. One from Ray Smedley. Hi, we look very tired. How come the players' union is allowing the AFL to make the Millers play all these games so close together? That's how players get injured. It is a fair comment that, but I don't think we're ever going to get any favours. Certainly not going to get any favours from EFL because they've got their pockets to line with getting games in as quickly, within the agreed schedule.
And the PFA are busy trying to get rid of wage caps so players can earn some more money. They're not really interested in tiredness. They're trying to get more money. Yeah, is the problem.
We're never going to get any favours from them, are we? It's as simple as that. So what can you do? But it's a fair comment, I think.
It is a fair comment, and I went on Radio Sheffield a few weeks ago. It sounds like we're really, really playing the victim, but we've sort of been penalised for something that wasn't our fault. EFL have said we haven't done anything wrong. EFL have said we've followed COVID procedures, but we've still got penalised for it by having to play so many games in a row.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but we also had 4 weeks rest altogether.
Is it really rest though? It wasn't a real rest, right? For most of them,
it's rest for those that are not suffering.
Yeah,
I'm not complaining about how many games. I mean, it's just how the cookie crumbles. I mean, you can sit and complain about it all you like. In 10 years, no one's going to care. No one else. No, at the minute, nobody else cares. Nor should they.
No, they don't.
I've got a reason to.
No,
I don't blame you. I don't blame the EFL for making the players amount of games. It's just
Well, they should have had some foreplanning.
Yeah, it should have had some foreplanning. But it is what it is. We have to play the games. I think we just suck it up and play it. I'm not complaining.
And to be fair to Warney, I don't recall him ever complaining about it. This is not the club's never complained about it, which is how they should do.
I'd have a serious problem if he did. But
I agree. Although you said that, can you imagine Neil Warnock in this situation? He won't be letting it go, would he?
Oh no! No!
I think Neil Warnock is the only exception because he's the only exception that I would make to give an excuse because he has been done over by referees for probably double my lifespan. So
what I would say is that you know what Warnock would have done. He'd have used it as a siege mentality. You know, old school Jose Mourinho, which he can't do anymore. He'd use it right, boys. These lot don't want you in this league. No, Steve Evans did it. This EFL, they don't want you in Championship. They've done this. They've done X, Y, and Z. That's what they would have done.
Yeah,
and it may have worked, but we've still got 4 points out of it so far, which is not a terrible return.
It's not.
It's just if we were sitting 12th, we'd be saying that's pretty good. That bearing in mind the fixture front, we'd be saying that's all right. It's cost of the situation we're in that it's then not enough so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Chris, USC Derby losing. Yeah, we're 90 plus 1 minutes as we're recording this, and Derby 2-1 down at Blackburn. Assuming that game remains that way, it puts Derby remain 4 points in front of us, and we've got 3 games in hand. 3 games in hand to Derby. Should Huddersfield lose tomorrow away at Forest on Saturday away at Forest, it puts us 5 points behind. Then with 3 games in hand. So, as Chris Wright says, the Coventry game's yesterday's chip paper, then they'll be up for it on Sunday. And I think he's probably right. I'm sure they'll be up for it.
Yeah.
And Birmingham, they pretty much feel that they are safe now, I would suggest.
I say so.
I appreciate lose on Sunday and they could get dragged back into it, but I think it's unlikely that that's going to happen for them. So we'll see. Chris RUSC is talking about we were talking about Victor there. He makes a point that he did take some painkillers while he were playing yesterday. I think it's a left shoulder, isn't it, that he seemed to be struggling with. Hopefully, I didn't seem to affect him for the remainder of the game, did it? But
no.
Who knows?
Yeah.
With the way our luck's going at the moment, you know what I mean? George Hayes talking about we needing a win on Sunday, which we'll come on to shortly. Chris Wright, one for you, Ben, this one, because I'm not having this one. You can have this one. However tired we were, they bought loads of free kicks. We ought to be a bit more savvy. What do you think to that, Ben?
I don't think it... I might be wrong, Chris, but I don't think he's saying we should start diving. I think what he's saying is you need to learn not to engage in the tackle. Wes Harding's the perfect example.
Yeah.
Don't do that. You're just giving him the opportunity. Smith does it quite a lot as well. If you put your hands on the defender when he's facing his own goal, what's he going to do? He's going to go down.
Yeah.
And what a Championship ref's going to do? Championship ref's going to give that. So I think that's what he means.
Yeah, I think you're
right. I don't know. It's not football when people do that. They played some good football last night, but what they did off the ball was not. What they did to win free kicks is not football. It's not the game that I know you two grew up watching. It's not the game that I grew up watching in my early years. It's not football. Yeah. And a lot of people, it's going to drive a lot of people. I've said it so many times. It's going to drive a lot of people away from the game, and rightly so. Because I'm not going to watch it when I'm older, apart from Rotherham, because it's crap. It's not even a sport. It's not even a sport.
What football's got to bear in mind is that they've got to make sure that football can entice people back after the pandemic ends. And if football becomes number one too expensive, which it could do, or number two becomes less entertaining, people won't go back because they've got out of the rhythm of it. I'll still go back. We'll still go back. Some people will, but bearing in mind the situation we're in, this could drive people away. Not from Rotherham United, I would have thought. But
the thing is, right, that's what I was literally just about to say. Local clubs like us, anyone below Premier League probably. They have the diehards. Even in the Premier League, they have the diehards who go every week, whatever, season ticket all their life, all that stuff. Because football at the minute, right, in the Premier League, it's the worst I've ever seen. Worst football I've ever seen. If people say it's best league in the world, no, it's not. I wouldn't even say it's top 5 at the minute, in my opinion. I ain't watched any.
They're all
of the
same,
leagues,
mate.
But But the thing is, right, is what it's going to do is it's going to drive people who are diehards of Rotherham, Coventry, whatever. We'd still watch Premier League on a Saturday, Sunday, and pay for Sky and stuff like this. We won't do that at the minute, or we don't really watch football at the minute because it's awful. We only watch Rotherham, whereas 2-3 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, we'd watch Premier League. Oh, who's playing on a Sunday? Who's playing on a Saturday? Oh, Man City, Man U. Oh, I want to watch that. Or Liverpool, whatever, right? Now we're Man City, I don't even know who's top of Premier League. I don't watch football. I don't watch Premier League football.
There's only one team at top of Premier League.
Yeah, my brother told me the other day that Man U were second. What? I thought 15th. I genuinely thought the 15th at the start of this season. So, yeah, man. I mean, I hope it gets the other way. I hope people drive away from football.
Just to let you know that I know we're 26 minutes into recording podcast and it's Friday night when we're recording. Derby have just lost 2-1 away at Blackburn. So that's a happy result for us.
That's
Reading and Cardiff have
happy.
drawn 1 each.
It puts us in a
Blackburn
better
have been garbage
position.
and all.
It puts us in a better position than we were before we lost yesterday.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I suppose it does.
Have we improved this position?
Yeah,
almost.
I don't know. I was almost.
Anyway, if we draw on Sunday, we'll be in exactly the same position as we were. Yeah, exactly the same.
but with 2 less games to play. But then everybody else has got 2 less games to play as well. So, I mean that's a cracking result for us. And tomorrow I shall be digging out my Nottingham Forest scarf that I don't own, but I shall be going to get one, or I won't. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Move on. A couple of stats from last night before we move on that were, we were these sort of semi-landmark appearances. Woody made his 175th appearance for the club. We'll talk about Woody again in a minute. And Freddie made his 75th for the club. Before we move on to the Birmingham game, we've got a couple of comments about the Birmingham game, which will come through in a minute. Richard Wood has signed an extension for another year. He hits a clause in his contract. He's played X amount of games. He's now earned another year's contract. That's nothing but good news for me, Ben. He's been crucial to the way we play this season, and he works perfectly at back 3.
I think crucial's a massive understatement. I think pioneer, to be honest with you. I think we'd be near long gone without him this season. I think yesterday, like I said, him and probably 1 or 2 other players were the only people that actually tried making some main end. You see him on wing putting crosses in toward the last 10 minutes. I didn't see anyone else trying to put themselves in that position.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true,
when he popped up on left wing, I couldn't believe it was Woody that popped up there.
Not only that, he popped up on left wing, offside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The thing is, and this is what Ben was talking about earlier on, if you're a player in that team and you see him doing that, you want to do the same. And that didn't come across last night. He was leading by example, but a lot of them weren't being led by his example, if that makes sense. But anyway, we're moving on.
The thing is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Do you know what I mean? You can only do so much.
Oh, you're wise beyond your years, Ben.
No, but that is so true, isn't it? Woody and Johansson, Smith can only do so much. Johansson did his best keepers in the game. Woody's done his best. The goal, right? Was it the goal? It might not have been the goal. They had like a shot at back post. All of a sudden they headed it, and it was a throw-in. Yeah. It was a throw-in, right? And all of a sudden he's gone up to head it. Woody's jumped up to head it, right? Missed it. All of a sudden he's headed it, and then still nearly blocked the shot. Yeah. Busted a gut to get to the other. I didn't see nobody else doing that.
Yeah.
And this is the type of things that people don't see. And it's... I'm really disappointed in everyone else because a lot of people would die to have someone like that at the club.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. One final stat. Icky made his 125th appearance for the club last night as well. Wow. So, moving on to Saturday. Go on, sorry.
No, I'm not convinced
Sunday.
that was the right decision to play Icky last night.
No, I don't think so either. But you couldn't play Robertson.
Oh. Yeah, I
That
suppose.
was a problem. And you probably couldn't have played Giles from start either.
No, fair comment. Yeah.
I don't think anyone wanted, but yeah. We'll start with a couple of stats. Birmingham game before we move on. Mitch Smith's next appearance will be his 150th for Rotherham United, which again is a very good number to get up to. Our record against them, as we always do on this show, we go through our previous records against the club, which, as everybody who listens regularly knows, Mick hates this section. Doing it anyway. The last win against Birmingham was at 2015, a 2-0 victory at St Andrews. Steve Evans got sacked after that game, or left, whatever you want to say, sacked, mutual consent. That was his final game in charge of Rotherham. The last game that we won at home against Birmingham, 2/3 of this podcast were not alive. It was in 1989. We won 5-1. I think we won the title. We won the title in 89, Mick, or were it 88? Or, I can't remember.
I don't even know what I just had for my tea half an hour ago, mate. I have no idea. We might have done, we might not have done. I don't even know what division we were in. I don't know. Were I alive?
I wasn't alive.
Oh, no, you weren't, were
you? Moving forward, Jamie's very positive on YouTube. Have you got any videos for celebration of staying up this year? Super proud of the club. A fair point to be still, I agree, still proud of them. Couldn't even go down, still improved.
Listen, if they go down, they're still our club. You know what I mean? We'll still support them 100%, still be 100% behind them, 100% behind what they're trying to do to our club, because what they're trying to do is to make it into a proper, sustainable football club that will be here for many, many years to come. And there are a lot of other clubs, Birmingham in particular, as an example, who have not got that sort of backing behind them. And that's not the fans' fault. That's down to the owners. The likes of Reading. I mean, Reading are likely. I've read something the other day about Reading, and I've talked about them previously about their inability to manage any sort of money in any way. I think
200% of their income, aren't they?
Well, it was 2 seasons ago they were paying 220% of their income on wages. They're still doing it, and if they don't go up this season, it's likely. But there's a strong potential that they're going to go into administration because they can't. It's just not sustainable. So if we're back in League One, we're still going to be there. There's going to be a lot of clubs in the very, very near future, I think, that aren't going to be. Football, ultimately, as we know at the moment, is just going to eat itself. It really is. It's just going to eat itself, and it's really going to hit the fan at some stage. I hope, anyway, for some people. We'll start with the Birmingham fan who's got in touch on YouTube. Birmingham fan here are very physical and very good in the air. What do you think you can do to combat the players' rest? I'll be honest with you, mate. That does not sit well with us, being a big, strong physical side. As much as if you've never watched Rotherham before, you will think that we are bullies who are going to jump at you, do this, that, and other. Just basically knock your head off. That could not be further from the truth in terms of us. Rotherham United are very aggressive teams in terms of chasing, in terms of pressing. One of them, as shown in the stats, one of the most aggressive teams for pressing in Europe when the last stats came out in January, something like that. Yeah. We prefer to play teams who try to play out from the back. That's why when we play Norwich, for example, we don't get spanked off them because we put them under a lot of pressure. But then when we play teams like Wycombe, who are much more direct, we struggled against them. So that does fill me with a little bit of dread. For Birmingham, we're going to be strong and physical. They probably brought Jukovic back in, who is the type of player. He's a slightly better Michael Smith. He knows what he's doing in Championship. He's big and strong, and wins headers and wins all these balls. Can find back in there. It's not a positive thing that they're that type of team, is it, Mick? I don't know. I thought in my head, and I don't know why, I thought Jukovic was a central midfielder.
No, he's a big man up top.
Right, I have no problem with that. I have absolutely no issue with that because Woody will eat him for breakfast. Woody has eaten much better players than that for breakfast.
You might come to live to regret those words.
Well, possibly. Yeah, I mean, I'm putting my head above the parapet there, aren't I? But you know as well as I do, and we as Rotherham United supporters know that Richard Wood has eaten much better players. So it's not that area of the pitch that concerns me. It's more in the middle. It's going to be like ball's going to just be in air, and it's probably just as well we're not going to be at game. You know, at least we can save our necks while we're watching it on telly, can't we?
Let's talk about the midfield, shall we, Ben? We've got a couple of messages out there. We've got Josh Smith on YouTube saying would like to see sadly a Wiles in a 10. Crook hasn't been up to stand over the past month or so. As Warney said, we need every player to be 100%. Can't afford passengers. And it was also mentioned from Ian Bradwers on Twitter. Basically, similar sort of question. What's sadly done wrong? On Thursday, he came on the right wing when we already had Chio on.
I saw that. I saw that. I see Ian, whatever. I saw that about him on Twitter, and I agree. I don't know. It's why is he not playing? Because first of all, where people say, right, I can't remember which one he said it, very fatigued, extremely fatigued, right, at the minute. Sadly, he's played, a combined total of 60 minutes in the season, in the past month? I don't...
Probably in season, to be fair.
I'm clueless as to why. Same with Clark. I mean... To be honest, I'm starting to lose sympathy for the fact that we're tired, because we've got two players there who we yet to see, who are just sitting on the bench picking up dust, who are full for probably match fit for 90 minutes. So I'm genuinely starting to lose sympathy because I don't get it.
Not only that, Ben, they are very, very dangerous players. They're players
certainly, sadly, can be.
Yeah, who can create, who can score. I genuinely don't get it. I don't understand what the issue is. And I know the tweet from Ian Bradders mentioned about whether it was tongue in cheek or whether it was a smart ass comment. Sorry for my language. About is Sadler not a nice person? There seems to be some sort of issue with a couple of players that they don't. I don't know. They just don't like him. I don't know.
Let's put into a bit of context that if rumours are to be believed, he didn't necessarily want to sign for us in the summer. He wanted to go to Hull because he wanted to go back up with.
Who wants to go to Hull? Have you been
what's
to
his
Hull?
face? Grant McCann. Is it Grant McCann? I think he's worked with Grant McCann before Donny. I think Grant McCann signed him for Donny, and he wanted to go back and work for Grant McCann in Hull. But the wage cap came in, and they couldn't afford his wages. So if those stories are to be believed, and that's why he came to us in the end. Well, we're in Championship. We ain't got a wage cap. But in League One, we would not struggle, but we would be affected by the previous wage cap in League One, which doesn't exist anymore. We would have been hampered a little bit, and that's why Hull couldn't sign him. I think it was with Sunderland, a few League One clubs which do have bigger budgets than us couldn't sign him, so he had to come to somebody like Rotherham in the Championship because we could then afford his wages because we're not constricted. Those were the stories in the summer. So if they are to be believed, we may not have been his first choice, but at the same time, he hasn't been given the chances on the pitch.
Yeah,
but the thing is, you don't know. I'm going to retract what I said because I don't know the situation. But if that's true, then I understand why he's not playing him. I don't even know why he signed him in the first place, to be honest. If he's coming here because it's his last option, keep looking. Why would you want to come here? I don't want you here if he's your last option. But he would
have started to pass the tests, Paul Warren tests of, explaining the situation. He would have started to go through that. But I'm just, it might be nothing. I hope it's nothing, and I'm hoping we're going to see him very, very soon. Yeah. For me, he starts, but we said this on Tuesday, we said this on Thursday. We need a bit of extra creativity. I think Crooks has got a lot of harsh criticism recently. I know he's not been up to his best, but when he dropped deeper on Thursday, he was all right. In the actual central midfield, I don't think the way that they set up on Thursday helped the way that Crooks plays. And I know that sounds like I'm sort of letting Crooks off the hook a little bit, but it just didn't suit it. You'd have been better playing Freddie, and I know we couldn't play Freddie because of the circumstances, but you'd have been better off playing Freddie than Crooks because you can then knock it long and say, right, just
why couldn't we play Freddie?
He come off injured on Tuesday, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
You could have played Hurst, but would you have played Hurst?
No, you couldn't. No, not at all. I've read something tonight about George Hurst and his wages. We're paying 5k of his wages apparently a week. Allegedly, he's on 16k a week.
No.
Wowzers! I'm digging my boots out, mate. Because I'll tell you now, I would have scored more goals than him this season for Rotherham United in the Championship if I had that amount of match time. 100%.
Bless him.
And I'm 52.
Oh, we're not doing that, are we? We're being generous.
Yeah.
52?
All right. I might be a bit older than that, but anyway. I feel bad now for having a pop at George Hurst because it is unfair, that. But
you're old enough to be his dad.
I'm older than his dad.
You are? You can be his granddad.
Whatever, mate. Whatever.
Anyway, bringing this back. Rob Spedley says that Icky had a poor game. I think he means Robertson should come in for Icky on Sunday. Yeah, if Robertson's fit, bring Robertson back in. Go back to the three we started with on Tuesday, if that's possible. It's all fitness dependent, isn't it? That's the problem.
Of course it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Ethan Polish is with us as always. Cheers for joining us, mate. And one for you, Mick. John Morello, who's been with us a few times, so glad to have you on board again, John. He doesn't expect. I expected this. Don't expect them to play out any throw-ins from our half. Will be a long throw into the box. Brilliant. And Mick, nobody else plays one more championship other than Djukovic this season.
Well, listen, I'm not going to argue with that, John, because you've already promised us 3 points. So we've had this conversation a couple of times over the last few podcasts. But yeah, no, I'm sure you're right. But he will meet his match with Richard Wood. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt. He's very, very, very experienced. So we'll see. That could be an interesting duel. Could be a really interesting battle, that.
It's one of those games that Sky Sports might regret picking because it's not going to be a classic.
I'm sure they were jumping for joy after last night's game.
Yeah.
I mean, I nearly turned it off.
It's not going to be a 5-4 classic, this one. Let's put it that way, I don't think.
Well, you said that. Watch it being
Yeah. Since Lee Bowyer's come in, they've only lost one out of the last 5 games, and the game they lost was to Watford, who at the time and still are one of the form teams in the division, and are looking like they're going to secure second place. So that's no issues in losing to Watford. Like similar situation to us. No issues losing to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've credit where credit due to them. I know they've got lots of ownership problems, but they've pulled an absolute blinder by sacking Cranker when they did and bringing Lee Bowyer in. It's worked an absolute treat for him.
Yeah,
Anybody?
Go, Mick. I thought you said Ben there.
Just going to say they've dropped lucky. I think they've dropped lucky that they managed to get hold of Lee Bowyer, and he's come in and turned it around. What is it with Karanka? Because I in my head, from his time, certainly early days at Middlesbrough, I thought he was a reasonable manager, a decent manager, but he seems to have turned into some sort of, I don't know, some sort of weird Uri Geller type, bendy spoon type bloke. You know,
it looks like him in all of it.
Yeah, it does. It's like, some of the comments that he came out with.
I know.
They just kind of beggared belief, really, and.
You know the bad when his own fans were basically apologising for his nonsense that he was spouting.
What did he say? What were he saying?
It basically implied that we had purposely got COVID to cancel the games. In not so many words, that's basically what he was saying.
What were his actual words though?
He said that Rotherham need to be investigated by the EFL because it sounds like something strange is going off. Basically. They were just trying to detract from what you were doing.
Yeah, but he just seemed to have lost the plot completely, right the way across, and with the greatest respect to Birmingham, with the sort of the size of that club, there is no way that they should be where they are.
Did they used to be in Premier League?
League Cup.
Yeah. They're a big club. They are a big club. There's no question about that. And I don't really get how he's managed to turn them into what he turned them into.
They were crap before him. To be fair, it's ownership, bad ownership. It's similar to Blackburn, where I think I might be wrong, but I think the owners bought them when they were either in the Premier League or fighting for the Premier League, and they pumped a bit of money in, which didn't go very well, and now they're in a hole that they can't get themselves out of. Yeah. Lee Bowyer's a pretty good manager, sort of improving, but
weren't he at Wendy's? Lee Bowyer?
No, he managed Charlton. He played for Leeds for a long time.
Who at Wednesday? Lee
Bullen. Lee Bullen.
We should also mention, I know it's Wednesday, but Darren Moore's obviously, we should send best wishes to Darren Moore. Got COVID, now got pneumonia. It's, I know it's Sheffield Wednesday, but
it goes from best wishes to him. Doesn't it?
I know.
For bad to worse for Darren Moore. First he gets Wednesday job, and now he's in this mess, which is really genuinely. You've got to send your best wishes out to him and hope that he. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's a big strong lad, and he's not.
Yeah, if anybody can take it, he can take it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll certainly send our best wishes to him, and hope he gets through it pretty quickly.
Yeah. Final couple of comments before we to sort of wrap up and talk about what we think we're going to line up. John Morrell, Karenka worries about opposition. He sets us up to lose, never win to win a game. Bowyer's a fresh air. He should have got there before Karenka when he wanted it. Lee Bowyer did a pretty good job at Charlton with, again, similar circumstances, terrible ownership.
He seems to like a challenge, doesn't he, Lee Bowyer?
He seemed like the same way a player. He needs to want to do well.
Yeah.
He can't half-arse it, can he? I don't think.
No, he's a Paul Warne type. He was a Paul Warne type player. He gave it absolutely everything. Maybe technically he wasn't the most gifted footballer that there's ever been. There's no maybe about it. He clearly wasn't, much like Warney. But you knew exactly what you were going to get from him.
You were a bit nastier than Paul Warne.
He had a bit of a nastier streak than Warney, but the work ethic was still there. And he's clearly instilled that into his players, and he's brought it out of them. So good luck to him.
Yeah.
Good luck to him.
Ethan is Polish. He's probably the same as a lot of people. He's only been able to watch 20 minutes of the game on Sunday because he's playing with Sunday League football back in full swing. He thinks hopefully we'll win 2-0 Sadler to start as well. I think that's what Rotherham fans want to see Sadler to start. Ben, difficult to say because we're talking pre the pre-match press conference. Where's your mind going in terms of lineups very quickly?
Probably. Do you say Robertson's fit?
Should be.
I probably. You know what? I'm going to keep Picky in there. Sorry, I'm going to keep Picky in there. I'm going to keep it the same back six, including keeper.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Wing, Wiles, and Barlasser, and Smith and Freddy.
Yeah, I've been thinking about midfield a lot. I think you either need to drop Wiles or drop Lindsay and bring Barlaser in to give us a bit of composure in middle. If the ball's going to be in the air a lot of the game, we need, when the ball's on the floor, we needed some people to look after it. Lindsay and Barlaser can both look after it.
What I would say, if the balls are going to be in the air, you don't want Barlaser on the pitch. No offence to the lad, but
it's not going to air in middle, though, is it?
True, but he could probably jump 5 inches in air. Bless him. So I don't really want him playing.
It needs looking after when it's on deck.
I'm gonna swap Barlas for Crooks because we need Crooks in this game if it's going to be a long ball. No matter where, I'm gonna put Crooks in because we need him in.
I don't know at the moment. I'd love to see Chio get a start. Chio needs some time. He needs some match time to get himself match sharp again. I'd be tempted. Because I think Wes Harding needs a rest as well. I might be tempted to go for a flat back four. Might be. I don't know. Which would then accommodate Chio and Sadly out wide. And then maybe Barlaser and Wing in that central area. But I don't know. I've not really thought that through either because it doesn't give us much aggression in that midfield area. So maybe not. I don't know. I'm not manager, so it doesn't really matter, does it? What I would say is that I am 6th and top out of us on the fan hub prediction chart, though. So, if you want to move up that chart while you're on fan hub, look out for our team predictions and follow mine, because it seems like I'm best out of us 3.
Okay. Also, listen to the podcast through the app, which will help your fan hub rating as well if you're on there.
I don't tell them that.
I'm going to go a bit for Ben's basically first option, which he said. If Freddie's fit, I'll probably start Freddie. If Freddie's not fit, start Sadler as a 10. I thought Freddie looked dangerous, very dangerous when he came on. Again, as dangerous as anybody did. He worked hard. I suppose what I mean. Finally, we're going to finish Mark Gamble's Evening Gents. I agree with Gio. Was thinking last night, hopefully, we don't have another Clark Harris on our hands. Coming out from long-term injury, looking worse than did before. Yeah, I agree. What I think and what appears obvious, I say obvious, Chio looks like he's got a much better attitude than Clark Harris.
Yeah, he does. And
that's what it appears.
I agree with Mark, and I agree with Ray as well. It was Ray Smedley saying the same thing, that he doesn't quite look himself, which is why I think he needs a bit of time on the pitch. He needs to just, because 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there are not going to help him to get back that confidence and that sort of almost arrogance that he's got when he's on the ball.
The thing is, right, when people come back from knee injuries, especially meniscus, meniscus is a very common knee injury, probably the most common knee injury. I don't know, but I'm put to the ACL, weren't it? I can't remember what Clark Harris did. The thing is, with meniscus, it's not so much the mental side of it. It's your knee doesn't have the same ability if it's done properly. Like, mental side aside, your knee doesn't have the same ability if it's not clearing properly. So that could have it might not be his mental. He might genuinely not be good as he was. Through no fault of his own, it's just how cookie crumbles. His knee won't be as strong.
Yeah,
might not be. I don't know how severe the tear was, but that just saying that could be a factor.
True. Okay. Anything else you two want to add before we pack up? We've gone long, as always.
No, sorry. No, were you asking a question?
No.
Fine. Very quickly, one word prediction, score prediction, Ben.
1-0 Rotherham.
Mick?
1-0 Rotherham.
Okay, I'll 2-1 Rotherham. We'll all be positive.
Come on,
Millers. Right. Thank you all for watching. If you watch us on YouTube, please subscribe if you haven't already, because we're nearly on 200 subscribers. And if you can get us all to that landmark, that's the word, we would very much appreciate that. I hope you've all enjoyed Ben's haircut. And with this, we'll be back on Sunday for the post-match live. Back on Monday for the podcast to review this, to look at Middlesbrough. And I think that's all I've got to say at the moment. So thank you.
When you asked me to come on this thing, you said we'll just do a podcast every now and again and it'll be fine. It's just like getting like a full-time job now. And I'm not getting paid for it. I know. And it's, it's Friday night and I'm...
You get to have a beer on a Friday night to talk to people about Rotherham United. I don't know what more you want.
Fair comment. Fair enough, yeah. Fair enough.
We're talking about doing a watch along on Sunday, but we're just trying to work out some logistics. Me having 2 children running around the house is making the logistics very difficult. But we are going to try and do a watch along for Sunday if we can. But we'll keep an eye on the socials and we'll let you know if we do end up doing one. So thank you very much, Mick.
You're muchly welcome.
It's been summer. Yeah. And then I think your haircut looks, I'll be honest with you, I ain't noticed any difference. It looks exactly the same.
Just on the sides it's shorter.
All right, mate. Whatever.
And mine's shorter on top.
Yeah. Mick's waited 6 months to have his haircut like
that. At least I'm not green.
Yeah. You will do, mate.
Yeah.
We'll see you all on Sunday afternoon at the latest, and hopefully we will be back in touching distance of the rest of the championship. Cheers, guys, and we'll see you very, very soon.